come with me to film a central line simulation. My anesthesia department ordered 2 central line dummies in order to host a central line refresher workshop, and they asked me to lead the workshop. It is really important to do refresher classes like this as a CRNA because these are skills we don't use every day in the OR unless you work in cardiac surgery. The overwhelming majority of patients in anesthesia don't require central lines, but every now and then that emergency comes up, and if the skill is not refreshed every now and again, it's gonna feel a little rusty. Unfortunately, the ultrasound probe can't see through the rubber of the dummy, so we're going to do a demo of what ultrasound is supposed to look like on my own neck. You'll see 2 black circles in the screen. One of them is small and firm and cannot be compressed. That's my carotid artery. The one that's appearing and disappearing that is huge is my internal jugular vein. That is our target for where to place the central line. Let's get our kit set up so we can get started. You'll find that most kits, no matter what the brand, have the same basic pieces in common. You're going to have a wire, you're going to have a dilator, you're going to have a scalpel, and of course the central line. Here I had to fake it a little bit because the ultrasound could not see through the sim man's neck. And then even when I felt a change in resistance in the syringe, which is typically how you know you're in the vein, I couldn't get my fake blood to flow. After I took everything down, I discovered that the fake blood never really filled the IJ in the first place. So we're gonna have to use our imaginations here. This is how we check to make sure it's placed in the vein. We draw back on the syringe to fill up the tubing with the patient's blood. And when we raise the tubing high in the sky, the blood is supposed to drain back into the patient's vein. If it climbs up the tubing, you know you're in the artery and you have to start all over again. After floating the wire back in, we use a scalpel to create a little nick in the skin, and then we use a dilator to open up a passageway in order for the central line to pass more easily, because it's really just a flimsy catheter. Once the central line is advanced, you want to make sure that you aspirate and flush all the ports, take out the wire, of course. I wanted to show how to suture it down in place, but when I went to try to do it on the dummy, I actually bent the needle. And of course, you would cover it with a nice central line dressing. My hands were dyed bright red for the rest of the day, even though the blood didn't even work in the dummy. After I got home, I changed super fast and went out to be a New York City hot girl. So come back to see how that went.